Okay, good evening, and welcome to the regular meeting of the Recreation and Parks Commission. Can I have roll call, please?
Yes, Commissioner Snolnak is absent. Commissioner Lubes, I believe, will be joining us shortly.
He'll be,
Commissioner Cavagnolo,
Present.
Vice Chair Watson, Chair Moda.
I am here. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Okay, thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
And we'll go into public communication as related to city business only, 5-minute limit per person. How many do we have for public communications tonight? 2? Okay, please come on up and state your name.
Hello, members of the commission. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. My name is Mel Kuo. I am the president of Beach Cities Alpha. And I'm here, I'm not a resident of El Segundo, but I am here to speak on behalf of about 100 kids that reside in El Segundo and Wiseburn School District that are on our swim team. For those of you who are not on the aquatic subcommittee, on Monday, there was a particular presentation made on cost recovery for the aquatics department. And within that presentation, the authors put language in it suggesting huge user group allocation changes. I'd like to note that these user group changes would have no impact on the total cost recovered. Beach Cities Alpha has been the premier user group in the pool since it opened in 2019. The teams have paid approximately $1.5 million in payments to the city to utilize the pool. And we have helped train some of the city's best swimmers, like Aaron Arnold, Sora Koike, Molly Beatner, and Alexander Cole. We also employ coaches who are El Segundo residents. We utilize a gym in El Segundo for our weight training. We are very much tied to El Segundo. We have also bent over backwards to accomplish amazing things after listening to the aquatic subcommittee. Some of you may be young enough to remember the user group debates and protests back when the pool was opened. We have been able to combine the two teams that were contesting back in 2019 and 2018 to form one united team. This was one of the goals of the aquatic subcommittee. With this presentation that was presented at the meeting on Monday, we seem to be heading back to the dark days of fighting over pool space. I also want it to be known on record that nobody from the presentation authors approached us or warned us about its contents. It was simply attached to the meeting very close to the meeting date with no heads up. The presentation makes one believe it is, quote, fair allocation of resources, but gives the reader no further information on such things as number of El Segundo residents, number of kids in the pool per hour by sport, success criteria rankings that the subcommittee requests from all its user groups, or the impact these changes will have on the kids of El Segundo and Wiseburn if it is put into effect. It is flawed to say the least. On behalf of the young swimmers of El Segundo and Wiseburn, I kindly ask that the language of the user group allocation changes be removed from the current presentation on cost recovery and be properly discussed in a transparent and fair manner. Procedurally, I don't believe the members of the aquatic subcommittee had a chance to vote on the proposed presentation. At least no vote was witnessed. Also, according to Article 8 of the Park and Rec Bylaws, Section 2, Conflict of Interest, it describes prohibiting members with direct or indirect economic interest from participating in matters that will have an effect on them. Member Cavagnolo, I believe, pays dues to a user group, including my own possibly, that is subject to any rate changes and user group allocations. This seems gray at best, and I would hope to avoid this entirely by appointing a new member without any, quote, skin in the game to take over. During the 2018-2019 debates and votes, Councilman Chris Pimentel recused himself because he had a kid on one of the teams that was a proposed user group. To conclude, you have the power to have a proper process to reevaluate your user groups. Without your stewardship, our user group with 100 El Segundo and Weisburn kids would be pushed aside to make room for much smaller groups under the current presentation. If you have any doubts after my speaking, I encourage you to do what's right for El Segundo and Weisburn kids. Pause the process and do it the right way with full transparency. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. My name is Tim Arnold. I'm a El Segundo resident, 400 block of Virginia Street. I'm also on the board of Beach Cities Alpha, and I have 3 kids currently in the program, one who's graduated in college. And my oldest daughter, Emery, who's in college, is also a city employee. She's a lifeguard at the pool. Looking at this plan, I'm going to talk about the plan that was presented on Monday at the Aquatic Subcommittee. There was a couple things that I personally have issues with. One of the things is that none of the user groups will be able to use the plunge during the primetime hours. It says that it's going to be for lane swimming and lessons. The other issue I have is that they're saying that the primetime hours are from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. I would disagree with that and say it's from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. And I'd also like to point out that currently the water polo team that trains at the ESAC from 7 to 8 pays approximately $9.80 an hour, whereas Beach Cities Alpha for the same time pays approximately $18 an hour. So there's already an inequity. And under this plan that was presented on Monday, Beach Cities Beach Cities Alpha would go down to pay only $12 an hour for that 7 to 8 hours. So the things that I've heard from the city council and from the aquatic subcommittee over the last 12 to 24 months that I've been attending meetings is that they want to maximize cost recovery. So if that's the case, why would they lower our fees instead of raising the fees for the other user group? And I think that's all I have. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay.
Hello, my name is David Tong. I'm another, another Beach Cities Alpha director. I'm a resident of El Segundo. I have 2 children on the team. I don't really have much to add to what Mel and Tim had to say, other than to reiterate one point that Mel made. We all went through a lot of work, both at Alpha and at Beach Cities, to solve for one of the city's big issues as we understood it, which was to have a single user group in competitive swimming. There was a lot of compromises and a lot of sacrifices made by Alpha in order to do that. We had to give up a lot of ourselves in order to accomplish that, but we thought that was what was important to the city, a city that we've been committed to ever since the user group issues of 2018. We've committed ourselves to branding ourselves throughout Southern California swimming. If you come to any of our meets, if you look at our kids' t-shirts, they all say El Segundo Swim Team on the back of it. So coming from the Alpha directorship and being sort of the representation of that now defunct entity here, it was a bit shocking to see after the Herculean efforts we made to create that team to have a feeling a little bit of being punished for it or not getting recognized for that sacrifice. So I was at the subcommittee meeting on Monday, and my comment was simply the last point I'll make here, which is in light of that, it's really critical to us and our families that we have an opportunity to not just support our swimmers, but support our new family that we've joined with Beach Cities and advocate for at least an opportunity to make our positions known as to why the use allocation in that plan is materially impactful to our operations and our vision. Thank you.
Thank you. Any others? With that, we'll close public communications, and we cannot comment on that, but did you have?
Yes, just a little bit of follow-up. Thank you for the three of you for attending this evening and sharing your public comment. This isn't an agenda item this evening, so we can't have a lot of discussion, but I will address a couple of points that were made. Just as a point of clarification, we did, in fact, check with the city attorney about Member Cavagnolo's participation in the development of this plan, and it passes all checks. There's no violation of any bylaws. It is wholly appropriate, and I appreciate the work that you did. To that note, this item is going before the City Council at the October 7th meeting at 6:00 p.m. And we will invite every user group. We'll make sure to notify every user group that we're going to be discussing this item there. I think the council's prepared for a healthy discussion. The council sets policy, so ultimately this is their decision. I do appreciate the discussion around how many kids are participating and how many of those kids are El Segundo residents. So to that effect, I've asked each of the user groups to provide updated rosters of their participants by Friday. We will audit those rosters. We've done that previously. So, you know, if people are being untruthful or whatnot, you know, we can't, all we can do is ask for the information and then do our best to spot check it. We really rely on these user groups to be honest with us. And we will, again, we'll be bringing this item to the City Council on October 7th.
If I can ask a question, or maybe it's not the right.
You can ask a clarifying question, yes.
Is there anything that we can do in the interim, I guess would be the question. Maybe that's something for us to talk to later, just to
Yes,
allow
so,
voices to be heard.
you know, if the commission felt like they wanted to discuss this item again, they could potentially call a special meeting. I would not recommend that at this point.
Okay.
I think the City Council is prepared. We're gonna add some information to the presentation based on the feedback we've had, so that, you know, they have more of that info. So we will do that, but ultimately it's the council's decision. They did direct staff to look at equity. We've had some, council's had some people attend the meetings from the water polo groups, so they've just asked us to look at that. But, you know, ultimately it's up to them to determine, you know, how they want to split the pool time, and there's a lot of factors to consider, so I do appreciate your help on that.
Okay, thank you. We'll move right on along. Consent, regular meeting minutes from June 18th, 2025. Anyone?
Make a motion to approve?
Is there-
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's 4-0.
Thank you.
New business, employee spotlight, Devin Bargeman and the Parks team.
Yes, Honorable Chair and members of the commission, as you know, each month we highlight an employee or an employee or two at our commission meetings for, you know, something special they've done or some, you know, accomplishment. And tonight we're actually recognizing Devin and then several members of the Parks team. So Devin's our recreation coordinator. She oversees our teen center and camps. She did a phenomenal job this past summer. Making some real significant improvements to the program, and we got a lot of amazing feedback about that. And I will stop talking and let Linnea share.
I'm actually going to turn it over to her supervisor, Sean Green.
Oh, wonderful.
All right.
Thank you, Sean.
Good evening, Commission. It's been about a year. I haven't seen you guys in a while, so good to see everybody. Thanks for having us. You know, you have a lot of these over the years, and you kind of wonder what you're going to say, and kind of thinking about it today. In the last couple of days, I talked to Devin, master's degree, 15 years in rec, 8 years with the city of El Segundo. Just really amazing things that she's done. And then you kind of start thinking about the things that really, those are all amazing things, obviously. But, you know, Devin and I have worked together the last couple of years, and I really don't get to say how much I appreciate her very often. And moments like these are really important to me because I don't think anybody really understands what Devon's doing all day long with what's happening at summer camp. And we have teachers and different things in the room. Devon ran 5 summer camps this summer, hundreds of kids, 30-plus bus trips, water coordinating. I'm in the office and I'm watching 15 staff come in and out all day long, and she's doing all these things. She's running the teen center. She has 7 lead staff that she's leading, probably about 20 staff a day that she's directly managing. Yeah, just I appreciate her as a friend. She's great to work with. I appreciate all the things she's done for the city. It's a cool one to be here tonight. You know, see her with her family and her kids. It's really nice to be able to kind of recognize her. I know we've recognized a lot of young people throughout the year, but I think sometimes the full-time staff doesn't get kind of the credit that they deserve with what they're pulling off. And I think it's one of those things, we're talking about 4th of July today, and it's like 4th of July just happens. This community just doesn't realize how much people are doing. And when I was thinking about Devon today, I was like, man, I watched it all day long, every day when she was moving and shaking and doing those things. So I appreciate you, Devon. I know I don't get to say it very often, but thank you for all you do. This community is very lucky to have you in the position you are in, and look forward to working with you in the future.
Gonna come up and say a few words? So I'll present this certificate to you, Devon. This is Certificate of Excellence, and then we do have a gift card for you as well.
Thank
And
you.
Would you like to say a couple words?
I mean, I love it here, grew up here. My kids are growing up here. It's cool to see them go through the same programs, and I feel like it gives me a new perspective, and it allows me to bring different kind of greatness to our programs. So excited to keep working here.
Thank you, Devon.
Thanks, Devon.
I just also wanted to add
Yes,
that we
please.
threw some heavy-hitting projects on her this last year.
Yes.
We did a communication software for parents with a check-in and check-out process. She handled it all herself, had it all going. That was thousands of kids every single day getting entered, parent communication. I saw it in so many parent surveys. It just showed how much heart and effort she put into it. And then this past fall, she got thrown the after-school program. And just in our first month, walking to the clubhouse and seeing the kids' smiling faces, you know, it's a direct reflection of all the care she put into it. So, very proud of her.
Agree. Thank you, Devon.
Thank you.
And so moving on to our next employee spotlight. So I added this one last week because, as most of you are on the Parents Network, there's often complaints from residents about different things, or they bring concerns to our attention, and I try and respond and really be engaged on those pages, and I think it's very much appreciated by the residents. So there was a post about kids riding bikes over at Holly Valley, and you know, that park sort of has an embankment, and then it has this open grass, so it kind of lends itself to being a racetrack. And unfortunately, a lot of the kids here in the community decided that they would use it as such, and their e-bikes were really tearing up the grass, particularly around the embankment. And I saw the post on Tuesday night, Wednesday night. I text Joseph, hey, is there anything we can do about this? And the next day, his team went out and did this. And, you know, I said, can you throw a couple boulders out there? And he goes, oh, yeah, you know. And then I get pictures of this, which really just, to me, it demonstrates Joseph in particular in his leadership. And he and I have something called the wow factor. And he says, I want to give you the wow factor, you know, and he really embodies that. And I think he encourages his staff to do the same. The community came out when staff were out there and were just blown away that, like, this quickly you guys are doing something. And so again, I think the parks team sometimes doesn't get as much recognition for the behind the scenes stuff they do under Christopher's leadership, obviously. But so they are, we wanted to just recognize them tonight. They couldn't be here because it was kind of last minute, but I at least wanted to acknowledge them. So congratulations, Christopher, to your team.
I'm very proud of my team.
Yeah.
They threw this together rather quickly, and it was very much of a team effort. We had to get the boulders, we had to get the skip loader, we had to get plants, and they all got it on the spot and got it installed. So it was a great effort by the
Yes.
team.
Thank you. All right,
Okay, thank you very much.
thank you.
And that's a receive and file.
Yes.
Thank you. Summer 2025 wrap-up and presentation?
Yes, so I will be turning this over to Linnea Palmer, but before I do, I just want to acknowledge how hard this team worked this summer. And, you know, I sit in my office in the middle of Rec Park and I see everything that's going on. And I go over to the Aquatic Center Hilltop and it is true, these guys and their staff are the heart of this community. And they're, you know, they're just critical to the team. And, you know, people will say, oh, Allie, your team, you do this. And I go, I don't really do much of it. They do it all. So I want to acknowledge them and thank them for not only all their hard work this summer, but for coming this evening, taking time after they've worked a full day and sharing some of the highlights of things they've done over the summer. So I'll turn it over to Linnea.
Okay. Yes, but favorite presentation of the year, we are in the business of making memories in this town, and my staff do it so well. And so this is really our presentation every year that we get to do to highlight that. So I'm going to bring them up, whoever is the first presenter. I think Aquatic starts us off.
All right.
Hello, good to see everyone. If you don't remember, I'm Bailey, the aquatics coordinator. So we'll get, I have
Yep.
this, I'm just waiting. So as you have all heard that the Aquatic Center was closed most of the summer, but we still had a very successful summer for half of the month at the Aquatic Center and then Hilltop the rest of the time. Our swim lessons were filling up. We were only able to offer less spots, but they still fill up every time. And we were able to offer the group swim lessons and the privates. And we were able to offer a camp for the younger kids at Hilltop as well. And before we closed, we were able to offer a lifeguarding course because we're always hiring. So we certified 15 more lifeguards, which was awesome. And still a lot of visitors to Hilltop as well. I'll have Mark come up here and talk about our special events and our staff.
And if you don't mind introducing yourself, Mark, and your title.
Hello, Commission. Hello, everyone else. I'm Mark, and I'm the Senior Lifeguard Specialist at the Aquatics Department. And just some things that we did over the summer, like the aforementioned certification class Bailey mentioned. I go ahead and kind of lead those, making sure everything's up to the Red Cross standard. But some other more fun things, like we had this Light into Summer, which was basically kicking off the summer, first day of summer. We were bringing out the bounce house, bringing out an obstacle course as well for both our Aquatic Center location and Hilltop, just to give it something different, something interesting, something for the kids to remember. And more recently, we just had our National Lifeguard Appreciation Day, and so we had a bit of a booth there set up at Hilltop, and yeah, we had staff coming in, kind of bringing awareness to all the things lifeguards do all the time, and they were writing nice little notes, things on our little posters there. We would give them a rubber duck, a lifeguard rubber duck, or a sticker, but yeah, and then And then for more things that we did over the summer, we did have the shutdown of the Aquatic Center, but right before that, we do have our annual 6-hour mandatory pre-summer training, and that's going over everything that lifeguards can come to expect, and especially for summer, college kids are coming back, a lot of people in town. It's a great time to go ahead and kind of go over everything that we've learned. But even with the Aquatic Center closed, that didn't stop our regular trainings. I run those, and we offer about 5 or 6 a month, just so that way everyone has options to come to them. And here are some other pictures from our trainings as well. And in the meantime, we were able to also get in a hiring wave and hire 22 new lifeguards, and we'll get them onboarded very soon and part of the El Segundo family as well. And Bailey's going to take it away.
Yeah, just a few more slides so we can talk about the main thing that happened this summer. From July 1st to August 31st, we were closed, but we were successful with replacing the heaters. You can see a picture of our brand new heaters. They haven't even been on very much, which is super awesome. And we're also able to replace the liner of our instructional pool, which is really great for the water walkers, and it was awesome. We were able to just squeeze it in. And then besides that work, we had some dedicated staff who were there almost every day. Our other senior lifeguard specialist, George, he was working major hours along with senior lifeguard Nolan and lifeguard Christian, and they were coming 2 to 3 times a day, or a week. That would be nuts. And they were doing all sorts of things. So they resurfaced the dive blocks, they were power washing, just anything that you could think of for cleaning and fixing, they were on it. So it was really cool to see the dedicated work that we were ready to have the staff back and the public. And lastly, the Plunge Capital campaign, we were able to host a few booths. Majority of the time, it was just spreading the word and letting people know that they have the opportunity to donate or that we are opening soon. So public was very excited about that at the event. So we went to 4th of July, movie in the park, the car show, and the art walk. And yeah, a lot of our staff was involved, so that was awesome. And that's the majority of aquatic summer. So I'll move it on to Rachel. Awesome.
Thank you, Bailey.
Hello, Commissioners. Rachel Cummings, Recreation Supervisor. I work out of the checkout building, so that's where my office is. If anybody ever stops by and wants to say hi, that's where we're at. And these are all of the things we had going on this summer. We're going to start off with some of our adult sports, adult co-ed softball, 7-on-7 soccer league, and adult basketball league. Some of the highlights for the adult softball league being we're at max capacity 5 nights a week. We've got 3 games going, so that's pretty impressive. In terms of softball, that's our highest percentage of El Segundo resident and business-based teams, so I just wanted to highlight that because our adult offerings are thriving and a lot of our El Segundo residents and community members are partaking in that. So we've got 30 teams in our adult softball league, and 25 of those 30 teams are resident or business, El Segundo business-based teams, having a 75% residency for those rosters. And then also the co-ed championship for softball is tonight on Brett Field, so that's going on right now. And 7-on-7, we are growing in that department too. Friday nights at Campus El Segundo, 12 teams out there. Previously last year we had 7. And 161 participants in that league, and the adult basketball league also growing. Most we've ever had this past summer, 17 teams.
That is great.
Pickleball, so everybody knows fastest growing sport in I don't know what, but that's the stats that I always they always like to throw at me, but
Most popular thing in the world.
right, exactly. So 2025 Summer Pickleball League, we had a condensed version as our opposed to our typical league. We're usually fielding about 115 teams. In the summer, we condense it a little bit just to allow people to travel, take vacations, and do less forfeits because of all those things. So we had 89 teams, which is still a very significant number, and bringing in revenue, of course, $16,275 for that league. And then summer classes, we offered a variety of contract instruction for beginners, intermediate, round robins, co-ed option, which we just added for round robin with instruction because our women's round robin was so popular. So we added that on the weekends, and that's been going pretty well. And just between June and August, we made a little over $15,000 on contract instruction in pickleball. And our first ever Summerfest tournament took place this July. We had 65 teams, so it's a one-day format, so a one-and-done type of event. So 65 teams show up and compete in 6 different divisions based on gender or skill. There's also some mixed divisions as well. It was an opportunity to kind of create an event out of it, and so we had a couple of vendors on site in Rec Park doing paddle demonstrations, selling pickleball gear, and just kind of adding to the event outside of just the competition. We did an opportunity drawing, photo op, costume contest, which is why the costumes are in the photos there. And we also, exciting update, we utilized tournament software for the first time with this event. So that basically, instead of handwriting cards, adding numbers on the fly with pressure of people looking at you, trying to figure out who's playing next, we could type it into a computer and it would automatically generate that. So we tried it out with this, and it worked pretty well. There's some things we got to work out, but really excited and proud of the team for pulling that together. And then I just want to recognize some staff really quick in the talks of pickleball. Connie Thrasher's this recreation specialist who runs majority of the details of all of these leagues and tournaments. So would be remiss to talk about pickleball without mentioning her name. And then also Tyler Fujii for the prior leagues, softball, soccer, and basketball. And yeah, just one more thing here at the checkout building. So other than programming, we do facilitate facilities for other people basically to run their programs and events in our community as well. So in addition to the picnic areas here, we also were very busy with Campus El Segundo reservations, facilitating various leagues to host their camps. AYSO, Lacrosse had their camps out there, as well as rentals on the fields. But as far as picnic areas goes, we stayed very busy this summer, pretty much fully booked every single weekend in the park. You can anticipate to see activity in the park almost every weekend come June through September. But the highlights would be the collaboration between the picnic areas in recreation, the division, and then our new special events permitting process. There is a crossover between those two functions that Sean oversees the special events process. So we feel like we really ironed out some of those kinks, had a pretty good summer in terms of some of our larger scale events that took place in the park. And then highlighting Brian Quintanilla, who's the recreation specialist at the checkout building, for really taking the reservation process in stride. He developed a new reservation intake process, which helped us basically account for all of the different people bring vendors, and they do all kinds of various hired activities. So we didn't have any double booking issues, no unprepared or unwarranted activities going on in the park. So it really helps streamline everything. So that concludes, I think, the checkout building.
Thank you, Rachel. All right.
Hello again. I'm Devin. I'm the Teen Center and Summer Camp Coordinator. We had our back to school bonfire a little later this year. September 6th, we had about 30 people attend. We had pizza, s'mores, games, music, lots of skating going on too. The Teen Center, we held our 36th annual Gabbett tournament with 8 teams. It was a lot of fun to watch. Those teens are really into it. Mm-hmm. The amount of dunks that happened, and it was very entertaining. And then teen camp, we livened up our field trips a bit this summer, and we went to a Dodger game. We went to Urban Air Trampoline Park, is a crowd favorite, and Knott's Berry Farm. Soak City is always a lot of fun. I like to go on that one. And Bolero, which is now Lucky Strike, if you go to the Westchester one. We had 5 different camps, or 4, that was one. And last year we separated Cowabunga into 2 groups. So we have Cowabunga, I call it senior, and that's for 9 to 11-year-olds, and Cowabunga Junior, which is for 5 to 8-year-olds. Tiny Tot Camp, which is for 3 to 5-year-olds, and then Wreck It Up, which is our sports camps. In Wreck It Up, we did soccer, baseball, softball, I just said baseball, football, cheerleading. We had 3 weeks of arts and crafts this year, which is we haven't done that since pre-COVID. I'll go into the participation in the next one in a little bit. We had our leadership and training camp, which was previously our youth volunteer program that was led by Brooklyn and Allie. They went on many trips fire station. They did kickball with the police department. They baked cookies at the Joslin Center. They did other giving back activities like homeless kits for patches, teacher kits for Richmond and Center Street. They did the lemonade stand and lots of cookies for seniors.
Yes.
They loved them. And they also helped at all of our camps. So they were with us daily. They would go to Hilltop with us when we would go there. We loved having their assistance as well. So here's a list of all of our camps. The top is going to be our staff-led camps, and the bottom is going to be our contracted camps. It's a lot of numbers. I don't know if you want me to read them all. I'll save us. Yeah. But ultimately, we had 1,200 participants in our staff-led and almost 500 in our contracted, with revenue of $429,000 for the whole summer. We did see, these are our participant numbers, we did see a little bit of a drop this year, but note that last summer was 10 weeks and this summer was 9 weeks, and that played a factor in our numbers a little bit. And so you can see the participation since 2021, so the last 5 years, and then here's our registration revenue, so you'll see that little bit of a drop again. That 10th week really did us in. Yeah.
Thank you, Devin.
All right, we're almost there, I promise. So these are the clubhouse numbers. We added this slide this year. Josh Ellis is one of our specialists up at the clubhouse. Worked really hard this summer to help Devin with the contracted camps and with the clubhouse. So again, you can kind of read through our numbers, about $20,000 in revenue this year for the clubhouse. So working with Allie and Linnea for next summer to kind of reimagine, because I think the factor of the 9 to 10 weeks is part of it. And I also think maybe offering some things a little differently next summer with classes and camps. I think maybe sometimes I overdid it with some camps. So honestly, just offering a little less, and then I think we're going to get a little more participation. So some things as lessons learned from last summer to this summer. So that's our clubhouse. We also had our youth drama, Shrek this summer. My family went on Sunday. It was an amazing show. I did not understand why they needed to spend so much money on a dragon, but the dragon was very cool. They had a dragon, lots of parents participating in it, so that was fun. You can kind of see the numbers. We have lots of residents, 60 participants, $11,000 in registration. Pretty straightforward on the numbers. So Shrek was great. Looking forward. They have a couple cool ones coming up. We Will Rock You and the variety shows coming up next, so keep an eye out on those. It's kind of fun to be in the clubhouse and actually like knowing the music that's going on in there, so it's kind of fun. So I'll pass it off to Ryan.
Thank you.
Good evening, commissioners, and Commissioner Lubes. Happy to see you healing up well. For Farmers Market, kind of our big highlight that I would say is we transitioned to a new market manager. Livia Danford took over and has done a really, really good job of filling a lot of spaces. She's already brought in, I think it's 6 vendors over the summer, and then I have 2 more on the list. We're going to be having like a craft kind of candy vendor coming in, as well as a craft ice cream vendor coming in. She's filled quite a bit of the space, and some of the cool ones like the upcycled flannels and some different clothing options up there. She's really kind of jumped into her role since she took over in June, and really proud of her in that regard. And again, we had Rotary, our community groups, and a really nice summer out there with the market, and transitioning into our rainy season starting tomorrow already there. Over at Joslin, Dial-A-Ride with Lyft continues to really, really grow. 2024, we're about almost a little over 400 riders from the previous year. And again, that service is just doing really, really strong. Providing services, again, as I keep saying with this program, is we can provide more than one ride at a given time. So that's been really successful. Our line dancing class was probably one of our summer highlights. There was about 45 people in one of the classes, and it was getting very, very full in there. And then for this session, we actually added a couples line dancing night. So whenever you're heeled up, you can come on down and join that. We also added an additional senior fitness class on Wednesdays in the afternoon. And then just another really fun one is we did a senior barbecue. Once a month on Tuesdays, the seniors have their luncheon. And for the August meeting, our staff cooked hot dogs, burgers. We had some salad, potato salad, cookies, and vegetarian options as well. So we had 35 guests over there, and some of the park staff came and assisted helping us with cooking, and our staff served everyone. It was a really nice time. Oh, our picture didn't get updated. It's still my dog. I'm going to preface this one. We are going to come back next month with a more thorough report on the beach shuttles from these numbers. So before the next meeting, I'd like to open myself up. So if you have any questions about the shuttle prior to the meeting, please reach out to me. I'm available. We can meet and kind of go over some of the data. I've been kind of collecting some of the data and some of our old numbers starting back in 2016, and we've definitely had a massive decrease in this. Even from last summer to this summer was about a 40% decrease. So once we kind of got some of the early numbers from Swoop, we did go ahead and cut this down to one shuttle starting in August to close out the summer. But we did have 2 shuttles running for the majority of summer. And as you guys know, the e-bikes have kind of taken over. So we're, a little survey showed some correlation between that. So we will be bringing this back to see what the future of that program is. Summer events, everyone's favorite. Really proud of concerts this year. When I originally started with this program, we were only offering 3. We've built it up to 6, and I think we rocked Library Park all summer. Kicked off on Father's Day with Woody and the Longboarders, kind of some classic 60s, 70s surf rock. Cash Killer and King, huge hit. Wayward Sons was one of the bigger crowds we've had, probably anywhere from 2,200 to 2,400 people in the park at each time. So it allowed us, since we're doing more concerts, is we can have a little more of a variety. And from the Wayward Sons concert to like the Dan Delgado, who performs more jazz music, no relation as well, you could see a very different crowd. And it was a really, really fun time in the park for each of those concerts. And then we actually did the Dreaming of You, which was our 6th concert. So last year we had 5. We did that on the final Sunday before school started the next day, and we were still very full in the park. Really good food options. Tropic Truck had some delicious lobster fries, so I'm going to get them back for next summer, and hopefully you guys come down and get some. Yeah. For the same, Poutine Brothers was only able to attend 2, but Babies, Tropic, and Creamy Boys were at all 6. Yeah, is to keep them similar. Really got it down to a nice layout on Sundays with kind of where the food trucks are. And I know the tree debate is coming up here in a minute, but with the tree not being in the location it was, we were able to kind of recenter where the stage is, and it had really, really good viewpoints from all throughout the park. And also credit to Bell Events, who provides our sound, because there's those homes adjacent to there, so we stuck at a decibel level all throughout summer, and this was the first one, knock on wood, that I got no calls from residents about our concert. So really successful concert season. 4th of July, our usual big hit. We had a really good turnout in our daytime events. Our usual contest went through. Always thank you to Rotary and Kiwanis for running our watermelon and pie eating contest. Astro Yachts was a band that, kind of what I've done with our 4th of July is a band that has a really good turnout in a summer concert. We've been pulling them from 4th of July, so I actually learned yacht rock from you, Mr. Lubes. So that was a yacht rock band that we had pulled, and they rocked the stage prior to the fireworks. So we had a little fireworks and then a bigger show after. Family camp out. This year was a little bit down, but we were on the same day as the car show. The car show kind of moved their weekend up, so we were competing with that, but we still had a really good turnout. We had 255 families, served them Jersey Mike's, chips, s'mores. Couldn't believe how the kids love Bluey. We had that on the screen once the sun started to go down. And again, a really, really nice day. And also thank you to Bill Ruane for sponsoring that event. And then Go Fly a Kite Day. again, all of kind of those previous events I mentioned, either, aside from summer concerts, you're purchasing something to get in. Go Fly a Kite Day is supposed to be kind of what the heart of recreation is just getting outside and being active. And that's where this idea was born from, and it continues to grow. We purchased 250 kites, and all of them were distributed. And then this year, we actually had a new contest, which was see who can fly the highest kites. Couple people were tying strings together from different kites to see how they would go, and we purchased a really cool 10-foot whale kite that went to the winner. So we were able to distribute that, and even after the event had ended, there was quite a few people still in the park flying throughout the day. So the joys of the simple life. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ryan.
And there are still kites in the park.
Thank you.
Yes, and light poles and everything. So that concludes our presentation. If you guys have any questions or follow up, please let us know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, staff, and feel free to go home unless you'd like to stay.
Yeah.
I know you've all been here all day long. And again, thanks to all of you guys.
Thank you, guys.
It's our favorite presentation of the year, too, by far. Thank you so much.
Okay, Teen Center Plaza and Skate Park renovation project.
Yes, Honorable Chair and members of the commission. So we have seen the skate park, or the Teen Center skate park plans a few times. And I don't think there have been any major changes since you guys have seen this last. But because it is going to the city council soon, we did want to invite the representative from MIG to attend the meeting and just kind of quickly go through and highlight any updates and just give you an opportunity to ask any questions or provide any feedback before it goes to the city council. So unless you had anything to add, I'd like to invite Jenny Zell from MIG to come on up.
Terrific. Thank you, Allie.
Sure.
Thank you. And I was just thinking, looking at all those stats of how active the community is. I don't know that it's possible, but I don't know if by zip code you can get like an insurance discount. Because all those activities are what keep people healthy, and your insurance should go down.
Yes. Right.
I know.
It's nuts. It's very
30 softball teams.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. So let's see. So thank you, and as Allie said, you've seen it before. I'm here for you to ask questions and clarify kind of where we've gone since we met, I think.
Months ago.
Yeah, several months ago. So this is where this slide is here because it's a reference point. This is where we began in a way. This is where we got authorization to move forward with option 2. And this was in the beginning of our schematic design. This is before we issued any kind of site surveys. But this is, the estimated numbers of what we were going to do here and what was a priority. And one of the priorities was to keep these square footages relatively and very close to how they exist right now. And so there's been some evolution and some change of these numbers, and in some ways it depends on how you cut the pie up here. But for the skate park, the area you see outlined in red, that is currently at 7,125 square feet. It's about 35 square foot more than it was previously. But it depends on, whoops, excuse me. I'm sorry, let's see. But it depends on exactly how we cut it up, if we include that seat wall or not. But some of that discrepancy is also from getting a site survey, and more accurate numbers. And then you see the plaza here. We changed the configuration to straighten it out a bit to help improve drainage and orientation. And but we kept some of these aspects intact. And we'll see a little bit more as we move forward about the ramp and how we're getting one path of travel from an ADA parking spot down into the teen center, which is really terrific. So this is the existing, this is an illustrative site plan. And so I just want to point out a couple things with the pointer. Maybe the pointer doesn't work.
We've ever used the pointer.
Okay, that we have,
We probably should get one.
just to point out that we do have seating around the multipurpose court. We have built-in seat walls, which, yeah, exactly. Thank you, Linnea, which are shown here. And we have also, I think, a really terrific flow. This is a very tight condition. There's a lot of small moves to really make that entry into the teen center more open and to allow the fence that is there around the multipurpose court to be opened so that there can be shared flow between the two spaces at certain times and specific events. And this is just a reference, construction drawings, they're progressing right now. We have them in plan check, very detailed. There's a lot of sheets and a lot of structural calculations that we have in plan check right now, but this is what needs to be done to get it built. And so, oh, this highlights the seat walls and where seating can happen. The seat wall in the lower left-hand corner, Linnea, if you don't mind pointing that one out, it's pretty tight there with gameplay. It's going to be active for balls. I don't know that people are going to really want to sit there when active, but we kept it there.
That's good.
Yeah, and for spectators, for different.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And we've got some great, oh, yes, of course.
Do you want questions now, or do you want to wait?
Whenever you want to ask, yeah.
The seat wall on the east side,
Yes,
that's a new one. That's a major change. I
the L
feel.
shape, yes.
Yeah, and I question that decision
Okay,
because of play on the basketball court.
Because what was that?
To have a wall right where you're going off the court, probably not a good idea. The other two are on the side where no one's running through, but if you have it on the end, when you're going up for a layup, you don't want a wall right there.
Is there an elevation change right there?
Yes.
That's why. There's an elevation change.
there's it's 18 inches.
No, how many feet
Oh.
from the baseline? You know, right on the baseline.
It's close, it's like 4 or 5 feet from the baseline, yeah.
4 or 5
And it's
feet,
only
though.
18 inches?
The height, it varies, that slope changes, and it gets to 18 inches, yeah,
But you said it's 4 to 5 feet between.
from the baseline.
Okay.
So is that for retaining reasons? Is that a retaining wall? Does it have to be there? Because is there any other way to avoid that wall there? Because that will ruin Gavitt.
It will ruin, what was that?
Sean? It'll ruin Gavitt. It'll make basketball play on that court dangerous.
Okay, so we can look at that.
Dude, how far back from the baseline do you think? Because I see we have the stairs there and we have a wall.
Yeah.
Right, so if you were to push it back, if there was an elevation, like how far back do you think it would be?
Need to be. But then you lose space for the patio.
I don't know, maybe
Am I down?
10 feet, 10 or 12? I was gonna say 10 or 12, but beyond the baseline would be, I think, a lot safer. Right there, I think is problematic.
It's there for safety? Is that because there's an elevation change?
Yeah.
Well, there's two things.
Well, there
What,
is-
yeah,
Go ahead.
there's a trade-off, of course, for that wall, because if you look at the existing conditions right now, there is about an 18 to 20-inch grade change, and so the court slopes, and so this enables the court to be level for level play. And what it also does, it absorbs that grade change between the inside and the outside. And what's happening right now is you open those, we have those large kind of garage door that you open, and so it creates a gathering spot outside. So it's, that grade change has to be absorbed somewhere. Is that your question?
Well, could we look at, I mean, it seems like we could look at some sort of, I don't know, things installed on that wall, like bumpers, or I don't know. I mean, is it a concern that kids will trip over it, or? run into it, or?
Both. It depends on the height. If it's low enough, then it's tripped. If it's high enough, then it's run into. I mean, on the other side, to run into a fence is not as dangerous. I know that sounds crazy, but like if there was a fence right there, that's not nearly as bad. But any sort of seat wall or wall on the baseline is, yeah.
We can look at it.
I mean, now we're backing up a couple years, but I mean, I personally wasn't a proponent of those big doors. Now the big doors are causing this problem. Can that wall be moved back so that the flat area of the basketball goes even closer to the building, and then you have the wall? So you come out the door and you, yeah, so that it wouldn't ruin the gathering space on the outside of those doors.
Well, maybe we
But
can we consider it? We can talk more about it.
And
I don't
look-
think we can make a decision tonight, because that's a significant change, you know, to the plan, because it means that we would lose 5 or so feet of the gathering space, which is something that I think staff all agreed we wanted. So maybe there's a way we can meet in the middle or come up with a,
Staff's comments too, I mean, when they, at the teen center, and how they feel like seeing this, because I think.
yeah. Linnea, do you have any thoughts on it?
I mean, the seat wall is definitely a concern, but I know there's also the concern of a ledge for a platform. So I'm like, looking at this stage, it's still 1.5 feet. Are you more likely to trip over this, or a seat wall would
Right.
grace you? I know our goal was to provide seating on the exterior, because we were getting rid of some of that space between the court and the skate park. But we would have to look if we can push that back smaller.
I mean, I would go so far as to say I'd rather have the court I'd rather have the court not be flat and still have a court that's not perfect than have a wall there. Because then at least allows for gameplay to continue.
Or even a slope after the end of the court, going up that 18-inch grade or whatever.
Right, the gathering place is as a little bit of an angle, maybe, I don't know,
We can share that feedback and talk about it
Yeah.
more.
And what those implications are.
Okay,
Now you just see kids
thank you.
trying to jump over it and just catching a foot and face planting like a lot.
Okay.
So, I know we can't just get a solution now.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, you can, but I think, you know, that's a big change, so, and has this already gone to the park renovation?
Not this presentation.
Oh, okay, okay,
It's been and it's in plan check right now.
okay. So let's talk about it offline. I think we can share this feedback and see if there's any other options, for
Okay.
sure.
And to be clear on what's preferable, you're talking about either a sloped plane is preferable, because we can't have a ledge and a drop-off.
Right.
But it was seat wall moved closer to the building.
I mean, I'm purely talking about gameplay on the court right now, so yes, to allow games to continue, the wall can't be there. I mean, it basically will stop basketball from being played on that court because you'll have injuries that occur. So I don't know what the solution is.
Okay.
I mean, it may be the.
Like going up, at least behind the layup area, because to your point, you said that a fence, at least it repels them back, because that's what they have on the other side.
Probably safer.
Probably. I mean, it would be ugly. Yeah.
It would be ugly, yeah, and it kind of changes the whole idea of that outdoor space.
Well, but it doesn't need to be the whole way, just
Right.
behind the backboard.
Yeah.
So could you have just even something fun that they can bounce off of
Oh,
there?
okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, or if it's tall enough and it's cushioned, like the.
That's what I'm
like at
talking
the
about,
softball-
yes.
Like the softball field.
Yes,
Yeah.
like how they have those things on the
On the
posts.
softball field. Well,
Yeah.
the softball field has it all the way along. on the first
Exactly.
base side. So
Yeah.
maybe something like that.
Yeah, might work.
If it's high enough, you can't trip, but it's not dangerous to run into.
Exactly.
Possibly. I don't know.
Okay, so we can talk more about it.
Okay.
I know you've got a lot of slides, so,
And we can go through it.
yeah.
Or just the area
No,
behind.
just the vertical. not the seating area, but
Got
just
it.
where you don't run into it.
Having it high enough such that like you run into it as opposed to going over it.
Yeah, but then at some point it turns, it's no
Until
longer
it's not, you can't sit in it, so I think this is
so-
where like, that's a trade-off, right?
But yeah, if it's safer to turn it into more of a wall, but again, that's all elevation related, I'm assuming, and so let's just have more conversation about it.
Okay,
Yeah,
sounds good.
thank you.
Sure. And keep interrupting. And so the sport court, multi-sport court layout, we got feedback from the users, and this is the preferred sport striping that they were looking for and color scheme that we're looking for, knowing it's more than basketball, but it allows for volleyball, I think pickleball, and I think Foursquare as well. Kids are still playing that.
Do we think volleyball will actually be played? Is that, the poles will go in there and
Mhm.
kids will play volleyball? Cool.
And this is just a detail of the tight condition we have to get down into a path of travel, to get down into the plaza level.
That's after they cross the street on the crosswalk and then they come around and.
Yes, exactly. And so they'll follow, what you see there is labeled L11. That's like a signage wall, El Segundo. And it forms the edge of the skate park, separates those activities. And that ramp heads down. You'll go just straight, and then you'll go straight here and make a right to get into this plaza level. And if you're coming from that parked, this was tricky, but if you're coming from that parked space, there's your path of travel. So that does add about 120 square feet of ramp that wasn't there before. But it's the solution we needed to get people in. And one thing I wanted to point out, you see here up the north in the parking lot, this is a storm water retention area. And it's taking the water that's collected on the courts and cleaning it up before it goes into the ocean, essentially. That's what this structure here is.
Is that new?
It's not new, it's been in the project, it was.
Okay, but it's not, I mean, it's new to El Segundo.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes, and it's required
Yeah.
by code
Okay.
now,
It's new code.
yeah. And this image is a little misleading because there's a parking lot on top of it, but I included it, that's sort of what it'll look like underground.
Oh, okay.
That's what this is here for. You can ignore that if you want, but it's sort of what they look like. And this is this is going to be important, and this is going to come up again when you get your bids back, which is the lighting. And we have, we're presenting it as two options and add alternates. So lighting was not included at the beginning of this project. We've added it. And so we have two options. One is the lighting designer has taken the existing poles and pole locations and modified them and added, different lamps and different angles to make it more efficient and light this space better. But you can see here that they're fairly spread, spaced pretty far apart, and and it's, again, as we know, it's very tight space. There's no poles here in the middle to get that double view within the skate park. And what that does, having light coming from two different sources helps avoid shadows and things like that when you're skating. But also, it's hard to see on here, but if you look at the photometrics and the numbers of the photometrics, you'll see in the lower right-hand corner there, well, actually, let me show you both, and then I have a summary table that might be easier to read. So this is new lighting, and you can see there's still lighting at the perimeter, but we've added 3 poles along the wall that's separating the skate park and the multipurpose court, and then we've also added one more pole at the edge of that seat wall. You can see in the upper right-hand corner. And what this does is it gets better illumination. And these are the numbers these are the photometrics. And you see the first one is the existing, we're using the existing poles, so you see you see a wider range between the max and the minimum, going from 34 to 6. and the skate park going from 48 to 10. And then at the new, the max is 38 to 16, and for this basketball court, and then for the skate park, 47 to 18. And so, it's just more consistent light, less shadow. But it's also going to be more expensive, of course. And we have an estimate in, I think what's included now is about a $30,000 allowance for redoing what's there. And our estimate from the electrical is about $92,000 to add the new poles. So it's about a $63,000 delta at this point.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So first question, why, like, does every light need to be on its own pole? Is there not a way to put it in different directions?
Oh, they're combined, yes. So what this image doesn't show is how they're combined on a T at the top to add, let me go back.
Okay, so each one of these poles has more than one light?
Yes,
So there's
yeah,
Got it.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. Second question,
Uh-huh.
in the existing, we're showing the perimeter, but is there anything coming from the building itself down that middle?
There's some building mounted light, but it's minimal. Based on the roof level, it doesn't get up that high. These poles are 30 feet tall, it's tall, and that's the most efficient kind of distribution of light. So there is, but it's minimal.
Okay.
This has not changed, really, since you saw it a while ago, but this is showing that interconnection between the inside and the outside, and it's a little deceptive because you don't see the exact geometry of the grade change between the two. But it's absorbed. The seat wall on the right is kind of what you'd see in that space, of course, that we're talking about between the two.
Yeah, this I think is an older picture.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. Mm-hmm. Because right now, the fence, yeah, it stops at about a third of the way before it hits the building. This you've seen. There was some minor changes with the building and the building configurations based on sight lines and kind of being able to see kids from different positions within, and the stage orientation, and we've added a ramp to get up to that stage. But other than that, I think this has been pretty stable over the past past months. And this is what it looks like inside. Inside. And this is a rendering of the skate park and what those features will look like. And this is another item that's going to come up in the bids and bid alternates, is how we treat this, what we're calling the water tower feature, the skatable feature. That's the blue item you see here farthest to the west of the skate park. And whether that's done in white concrete, whether it's done painted, lettered, or it's just gray, gray concrete. Many different ways to cut this cake. And also the smokestacks, and how paint, or not even, it's paint, but a coating is applied, and what those different cost changes are. And this is just a different view of the skate park. And one thing I wanted to note, we have trees right now, we'll remove them. I got your,
So there were going to be trees on Grand, but we've talked about it internally as staff, and it's just a little bit of a maintenance nightmare in terms of stuff falling onto the court. I'm concerned about sightline. I want there to be a really clear sightline from Grand so that when police are patrolling. So we'll do something, but we're not going to do trees on Grand. Yep.
Yeah.
Are you doing trees on the bank? Are those new trees that you're planting on the bank? Or is that-
No, those are
No.
just the existing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There, yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah. And this is, I think you've seen this already?
Yeah.
Okay. Looks pretty exciting and fun. Exciting and fun, and this is the cost estimate where we're at right now with our cost estimator. This price has gone up from the DD cost estimate, which we got about a year, which we got in February, about, I think it was 192,000, and a lot of that is with site
Yeah.
mechanical. And you have the whole, it's actually, I have a detailed breakdown of what that cost is.
It was 4.6 before?
Yes.
I don't have that.
Yes, yes, essentially 4.6. And I don't know if it's comforting or not. I have been getting cost estimates from a lot of civic
Yeah.
work and a lot of planting work that are actually lower
Yeah.
than we anticipated. We're all really worried. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
making any promises, but somehow they're coming lower than some of our
Good.
estimates recently. So we don't know until we get those firm bids of what the cost is, but anecdotally,
Yep.
it's coming in a little lower. People maybe are a little hungrier for work,
Yeah.
it seems like.
Mhm.
Yep,
Interesting.
Good.
yeah. I think that's it, yeah.
Questions?
On the ad alternate,
Yes.
can you explain the ad alternates for
Sure.
instance,
Yeah.
skate park, the water tower? and
Sure.
everything, And on the, so that's painting it on the gray concrete? I'm gonna let you talk, I'm just, can you
Sure.
explain the differences?
Yeah, I have a, I have a range from from the skate park estimator. I have a range for costs and a detailed of the different estimates. But just what's included in the base bid for both the water tower and the cooling tower is gray concrete only. No color, no lettering, no striping.
That's in the base bid?
Base bid, yeah.
Okay,
And so the first, ad alternate right here, that you see, that's for, water tower, lettering on gray concrete. It seems like a lot of money for lettering, but it's detailed out, vinyl or mylar stencil, abrasive media, durable outdoor paint, 2 workers for 1 day at prevailing wage. Total, he's saying between 2,500 and 3,500.
Okay,
The next one is poly aspartic coating and lettering for the water tower. It's similar. It adds sandblast and paint fill. That's to get it to set in to the concrete. And decorative coating, these crews are at 2 days. So the labor goes up, so that's an average there for 11,000.
okay.
The next one you see here is integral color. This is the most expensive one, of course. That's using white cement. They got to clean out their truck from the gray and deliver the white concrete. And so that's 14 cubic yards. Just that cost is between 7,700 and 10,500 for the material, for 14 cubic yards of white cement. And then a premium to clean up. Then there's the formwork, because that formwork will be separate from the rest of the pour. Lettering, is it cost added, sealer, labor, decorative concrete, handling crew.
This is the $24,000?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I can provide this.
Okay, so that 24,000,
Yeah,
is that for just the water tower
yeah,
and not the cooling tower?
yes, correct.
Okay, 24, okay, keep going.
Sure. And then the next one is for the cooling towers, striped polyaspartic paint application. That's surface prep blast etching of those 2 faces, $1,000, $1,500. The paint, 3 colored, hand applied stripes, $1,000 to $1,500. Striping, layout, and masking for clean transition and protections, $7,500 to $1,000. Labor, decorative coatings crew, $1,500 to $2,500, for a total of $5,250 to $8,000. And that's where I just averaged these and got that.
You got,
60.
so that you
Yeah.
averaged them out.
Mm-hmm. And then the lighting reuse is the 32,000. So that number there is basically for putting the tees and adding the light. And part of what's embedded in that cost as well is your electrical panel right now combines, there's some electrical work that needs to happen no matter what, to separate the site lighting from the building electrical. And then the new lighting is setting all those new posts, adding the ones in between the 2 courts.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to,
Oh, got it.
okay.
We had a big question
Okay.
for you. Oh, boy.
Oh, Okay, so the question I have.
Thank you, Linnea.
I'm sorry, do you have anything on the lighting? Did you have a question on lighting? Go ahead, if you.
No, it was on the lettering.
That's on the lettering. So there's three options on the water tower. Why? What is the life expectancy of the paint?
It's a great question.
Of one, A, B, and C. Let's go that way. What's the life expectancy?
I don't have the answer.
Okay, because well, I'm going to say that the 11,000 and the 3,000 life expectancy is going to be the same. Versus if it's colored concrete.
The other thing is I'm potentially gonna consider asking the ACC for the funding, so I think we're gonna be in okay shape.
Yeah,
Ask for funding as an artistic component to the project, so. Unless
And what,
anyone
and the
has
same on the cooling towers, that you haven't given us the option for colored on that.
I don't think it would be very hard to do to,
Okay.
and there's no red, it's really hard to get, like, the red concrete just turns pink and blends
Okay.
back.
All right.
Are the first three independent of one another? So
Yes.
it's either 1, 2, or 3?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
not additive.
So color means we're just painting everything.
Same things, but color.
Color concrete,
No, the color, the third one, this one that says color. That means everything's getting, that's all color concrete. The first two are paint.
exactly.
Okay, so color means the concrete is colored and that's why it's so expensive. And then the next question comes in, how long does the colored concrete, does that last 50 years and we never have to touch it again? In which case 24 probably is a great deal.
Yes, that was the question that
Potentially.
I asked in the park renovation. I asked them every time it came up, what is our life expectancy?
That's the key question, I think, when we end up getting these bids, yeah.
So, but what I'm hearing is that the arts and culture, you're gonna be able, if we're gonna do this right, we should color it. I agree. I can't even see why we're wasting our time looking at $3,000 to paint it, or $11,000 to paint it. Let them wash out their trucks.
We're looking at it because if she comes back and says that the color only lasts, no, it'll deteriorate too, then we might say go with the 3 or the 11, right? It's possible.
For reference, the color concrete is integral, so the whole thing's at the white, and so if it gets scraped, it's still that color. It's like a rubber eraser, you chip at it, it's still pink red
What's
or
the
whatever.
whole thing? It's like
Yeah.
it's,
Yes,
yeah.
that's the advantage.
So I'm gonna push for this to be funded by the ACC, so, thank you.
Okay, awesome. Sorry it takes so long, but it was a question that I brought up many times, and I still don't have an answer.
Yeah.
Any more questions for
No,
Jenny?
I'm good.
I want to reiterate something Mark said about the wall, the wall behind the court, and that is that the important part is it's not behind the basket. It's okay if it's off to the side a little bit and on the baseline. So if there's a way to move it away from the basket, that's not nearly as dangerous. It's behind the basket that makes it a little bit dangerous, I think. So I just don't know if you caught that
The
comment
face
Mark
plant.
made. Yeah, that if you can move it down away from the basket.
Yeah.
Because of layup or
Potentially.
whatever activity.
Yeah,
you're
Going through,
trying.
yeah, that's where you're running full speed through the baseline, and on the ends, you really don't, yeah.
Got it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, and we have provided feedback, so we're good to go.
Take us forward.
Yes, we're good.
We're almost there. Unfinished business, tree replacement at Library Park. Go ahead, please.
Honorable Chair, members of the commission, I don't need to go through the history of the tree replacement. We've had several discussions, we voted on a tree, we've had a very difficult time finding the tree. We've got some other feedback about the tree that it might not be the best fit. As this has happened, we've had summer concerts in the park, and we have had a lot of feedback about how much of a nicer space this is for this program. And I get it, it's a program and it only happens 6 times a year, but it's a very, very beloved program in this community. I drive by that park, drive by on my way home every night. The sun now comes all the way across the street. In our opinion, it is best left as is. My recommendation is that we don't replace the tree. If the commission is very concerned about us losing a tree in our inventory, we can certainly add a tree somewhere else. But our recommendation, our strong recommendation is that we not replace the tree in the park.
I like strong recommendations.
And that concludes my report.
Anyone have any comments?
Is this an item that we're
Yes,
voting on?
yes, it is.
N-
Well, I want to know if there are you have any questions
I
first.
just-
Are there any questions first?
Yeah.
And then we can have a motion.
I have one question. I'll keep it quick. But is this in any way preclude us from putting a tree in at some later point in time?
No, not at all.
In Rec Park?
No,
Right.
I mean, you
In
might.
a similar spot?
No, not at all.
It doesn't preclude us from putting another tree to replace it in a different spot in the
Yeah.
park or another park.
Doesn't preclude us from
Yep,
doing anything.
exactly, yeah.
It
Point
just-
is, hey, we can reverse course if we decide we gotta have a tree. I do wish Julie was here, but, okay, that's all I wanted to know.
And we haven't had any, I mean, we've not had anyone come and say, when are you putting that tree back in? When are you putting that tree back in? We've had the opposite, people saying, this is great, and it's so pretty, and.
Okay.
All right,
Any comments?
I would like to make that motion to.
Second.
Can't
Accept.
second before you know what it is.
Yeah, to accept staff's
Preemptively
recommendation. And to go with staff's
build a new
recommendation, to
building.
not replace the tree at this time.
thank you.
I second.
All in favor? Aye. That's four.
Thank you, commission.
That's 4-0.
Wonderful.
Moving on. Reports, Recreation Parks and Library Director, report.
Well, you have the written report, and in the interest of time, I'm not going to go through it, but if you have any questions, please let me know. I did want to just follow up on the beach shuttle, that we will be having a further discussion about how to better utilize that funding. I do not recommend we continue the program next year at the same service level. We might look at doing it a few days a week, but I think there are a lot of transportation needs in this community that we need to consider, so.
And it's okay that Beach Shuttle went down. Like, that doesn't mean that the program isn't working. It means that times change.
Times have changed. Kids are on e-bikes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or
Right.
it's not, because we're not,
right. And it's
rate at how many kids are walking and riding
bikes, yes.
I know the whole e-bike thing, but I said it to my husband the other day, was we were out, everyone's outside.
Yes,
Everyone's outside.
Agreed.
Yes.
I love it.
yes. So
Great.
that concludes my report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I actually have, I want to talk about the park matrix.
The what was
The
that?
park
Oh,
matrix.
okay,
This is good.
Okay.
I like it, but I'd like to have another column added,
sure,
because I'm looking at, I see target date,
okay,
8/31.
okay,
So we've already passed that.
yes.
Is it done?
Is there
Has it been completed?
if there's if it's been completed, usually it will come off.
Okay, there's a
So-
lot of things on here that haven't come off.
Okay.
From 7. So if we can put another column,
Status,
status.
Perfect.
Or has it been completed, check mark.
Perfect.
And then it's gone, and then it's off the next month.
perfect. And we're gonna be, just so you guys know, I'm asking all of the facility staff that we're meeting next week, and I'm gonna have them come up with facility inspection checklists, because even though we don't handle the facility maintenance, I want my staff putting their eyes on it, reporting
Exactly.
things. I forward that to Public Works. I say, we reported it on this date, we reported it on this date, we reported it on this date. Sometimes that's a challenge between Public Works and us is, Public Works will say, well, you have staff that are out there every day, they should be seeing these things, but staff are doing programs and they're this and that. But I said to the staff, this is where you live, and you want this to be a good facility, so I want you to be checking things, and then we'll pass it off and make sure someone gets it done. So we will be creating a similar thing for the facilities.
Where does the app reporting go?
It goes to different staff. It depends on what the
What it
issue
is.
is.
Okay.
There's a tree, and then the city manager ultimately gets a list of which ones haven't been closed out, essentially. So,
Did we find what happened to the campus one? Or if it was never
oh,
submitted?
I don't think there was ever anything submitted, but it's been handled.
Yeah, I
yeah,
know, thank
yes,
you.
yes.
I was gonna call that out in my report.
Yes, thank you.
But yeah, I just was curious.
Yeah.
So are they going to report on those at some point for us? Like, this is how many people complained about trees or complained about,
I don't know if there's any plans to, but I can check.
they don't have any, like, because I would have thought that the best thing entirely about that app is the metrics. That
Oh,
come
yeah,
up.
and that's what they're the most excited about, but I don't know what they're doing with that, I should say. So I can check with the E-team on that. El Segundo Connect. Yes. And we are gonna be installing signs at all of our facilities with QR codes. I just
Great
directed
idea.
staff to do that.
Oh, what a great
Yes.
idea.
So any issues here in this bathroom, QR code. Any issues here? Before we got El Segundo Connect, we were getting ready to print them that said call, and I was gonna give my number, because I wanted to be made aware.
Right.
And then they said, no, hold on, Ally, we're gonna do this. So now we're gonna get these signs with these QR codes.
Well, then, will
Yep.
that ultimately make this report redundant, because we'll have reporting out of that?
Could potentially, yes. So we'll see.
Well, this is also a periodic.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right, this is a periodic
Yeah.
inspection, yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, I just want to know when it's been completed, that's all.
Yes, got it. We can add that.
And then, you know, like I said, the next month it can come off.
It's dated July, but then there's monthly ones
Yeah.
after it.
So, moving on, Recreation Park staff,
I don't think we have any additional comments this evening.
No comments. I'll take
Okay.
any questions.
not seeing any.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, thank you. Reports, commissioners, Julie's not here. Dave, anything?
I'm glad that we highlighted some full-time folks, because
Yes.
we do tend to take care of the part-timers more. And so that's awesome, because they all work very hard. That is the most fun presentation of the year. It's amazing how much you guys accomplish, and it takes everybody, and some people are gonna get forgotten, but we appreciate all staff in your department and all in the city. In particular, I think it's great how you guys got through the summer without the pool and dealing with that as best you could. I know that wasn't easy, and congratulations on getting through with that. And then lastly, I think that it's great that there's revenue, that you put the revenue on there, and that I know that's an important piece, that we do get some back. But the most important thing is the number of people who are participating in these programs and enjoying the park, and it's just awesome to see. And I'm glad we get to see the full thing once a year, because it's pretty overwhelming how much gets done. And I hope that, you know, some people get a chance to watch the presentation,
Yeah.
because it's pretty cool. I mean, maybe the presentation could be put on the website, so
Yeah, definitely.
just
That's
that,
a great
just that
idea.
portion, you know, just that
That
portion
is
of
a
the
great
meeting.
idea. The council all gets it, because
But,
but
yeah,
yeah,
then-
they're public. That's a good idea. Yes.
Silos, we don't know of all the other.
Yeah,
Right.
everything, so
Yeah.
it's,
Everything that's happening in Jocelyn, it's like, oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
just stuff that you're not as aware of.
right,
Yes.
so congratulations to everybody.
Thank you.
And thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Okay, Mark?
So I had a report on aquatics subcommittee, and I think Kelly can jump in with her comments if she has anything too. So this is just gonna be a report, or do we want comments too? Just general comments and,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
okay.
Just an overview.
So on the plunge, things are moving forward, but there is an expected delay. Kelly found out in the meeting that the website has it as a February completion date now, from what was an end of December completion date. So we are now 2 months behind. Elias said maybe March. Given where we are in the, I have my own personal feelings about it. Given where we are in the timeline now, it's still pretty early to be pushing it back from December to February. So my feeling is it's probably going to be later than that, but we'll see. You know, I hope not.
Let me jump in on that, because this could be a long discussion that
Yeah.
could spin out.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
We have not had any indication from the contractor that there is a delay.
Okay.
So I clarified that afterwards. I think staff got nervous and wanted to put that in there as a buffer, but we have not received notice from the contractor yet that they're gonna be delayed. So I
Okay, so
did check on
that
that.
date change was based upon staff's potential discomfort, but that.
Correct.
that
Joe
was a no-win.
said he sits in every single meeting, and the contractors have not said change the date.
Okay.
We have not had official word, so I apologize. I think Elias, wants to make sure that,
He's
managing
setting
expectations, but I don't think it's something we need to.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's good. On the plunge side, $3 million gap remains. We're still at 2 million, but we've got some corporate contributions we're
Meetings,
expecting to
yes.
come through, which is, or hoping to come through.
Well, and Mr.
Which-
Lundquist said he's confident we're gonna get the money. So
Yeah.
that's
So I
what
think we feel safe as a
Yes,
city.
yes.
And unless there's huge overages that we won't have to
Yeah.
contribute out
Yep.
of pocket.
Everyone here from contributing.
Yeah, exactly. And then, last, I was trying to debate, if I wanted to make a comment about the business plan, and, Mel took off, but, I really appreciate the comments from the BCS folks, or the BCA folks now. And I do understand the difficulty, right, and how they're responding. I understand their response, certainly. From the perspective of, from my perspective, this is something where city council wanted a business plan from staff. We had a consultant which came in and it didn't go so great. I helped Joe with the financial plan, and, we worked on the allocation plan as part of the financial plan because that drives some of the financials, and B, that was what was requested by city council. And to the extent that we're creating anything that was not requested by city council, I certainly don't want staff pushing something forward that you don't feel like meets city council's needs, right? But, anything you need me to do, I'm certainly here to help you and Joe and whoever else, but
Yeah, no, we can talk further. We can't discuss here,
Yeah.
but yeah, thank
Yeah.
you for your comments.
that's it.
Okay, thank you. Kelly?
Yes, I attended the major events, gosh, I can't remember what this council or this.
Ad hoc committee, I
Ad hoc
think.
committee, major events ad hoc committee. So really what that means is World Cup and Olympics and then other things that could come up in between. So the idea is that we're gonna try to activate different opportunities during that time and hopefully really do something exciting. And it's an ad hoc committee because we've got representation from all over the city. And that, because we're gonna have to involve transportation, we're gonna have to involve Parks and Rec from activating spaces, the city public works if we were to close down streets to do street parties or whatever. So it's actually a great group of people with lots of very cool ideas. And the biggest part of it really is getting folks with knowledge or ideas together in the same room too. Because, for example, we are talking about using our facilities and renting them out to different teams that come along. So for example, for the Olympics, France has asked to use our pool. Yes, all of France wants to use our pool. But there's also a group that, wants to do something France-related during the World Cup, and it was just interesting because those two things, bringing them together in the same room, had us thinking, wait a minute, could we become like the France Village or something like that? And so really exciting ideas came out of that. We know that we're on a short time frame, especially for FIFA, because that's happening next summer. And so the goal is that in the next, I think, 20 days, we're going to have a package put together of what we want to do and then bring it to council, because we want to ask for, the street closures, any funding that we would want to put into the pot for it, as well as there's talk about can we reduce some of the restrictions that we have on Airbnbs, for example, short-term rentals, so that citizens in towns could benefit from this. And then what other permitting things we would need done so that our local businesses could benefit and things like that. And then how do we get transportation to connect all the dots? So if you have ideas, we are 100% welcome. Anybody who wants to come, or certainly channel it through me. If you have people in town that you think could benefit from being connected to this, please let them know, because we definitely want to make sure that we do something fun and exciting and really, take advantage of this opportunity to make a splash for El Segundo. So that's where we're at with that. great job, staff. They're all gone, but I did want to, tired. And then thanks for fixing campus. We saw that there was an issue. There was, these things take on this urban myth of its own. Everybody's apparently reported something that I'm not sure anybody had ever reported, but once Ally knew about it, she fixed it immediately. And then, the October 7th council meeting where the aquatic stuff is going to be, discussed. I do think, we exist for a reason, and when council leans on us and we can get our, hands dirty and get information, it can be a benefit. But if city council just doesn't want that to happen, then, we should rush stuff through and they can have a lineup of people who are, probably gonna be pretty upset. And we've all put in a lot of time. This was a user group reacted because I don't think in our history we've ever taken away space from a user group, especially one that's in good standing with us. And, I do think it is appropriate to, we have information, we have models, in what we did in the fields that really did benefit everyone. But at the end of the day, if council wants to grapple with it without all that information, it is what it is. So I'm disappointed. I'm not gonna lie, because I feel like we're close. I think we could have done it, but it is what it is. So that's my 2 cents.
Is that it? Okay. I only have one thing. I want to thank Kelly, Linnea, and Rachel for working on the athletic field allocation policy, and that did pass and go through council, so it's a good document now and can be used for, obviously, the fields, and parts of it could be used for aquatics if necessary. So I'll just leave it with that. And with that, I will adjourn to our next scheduled meeting.